What if I told you that the secret to getting your energy, your stamina, and yes, even your manhood back after 60 isn't hiding inside some expensive treatment or fancy supplement that costs an arm and a leg? What if I told you the answer has been sitting on the shelf at your local Walgreens or CVS this whole time for less than the price of a cup of coffee? I'm talking about a tiny little pill, just 12 cents a dose, that quietly rebuilds what so many men over 60 believe they've lost forever. My name is Dr. Chloe Bennett, and for over 25 years I've been working with men right here in the United States, from small towns in the Midwest to big cities on both coasts. And I can tell you without a doubt that thousands of men are discovering something their regular doctor never told them. One simple vitamin, the kind you'd walk right past in the pharmacy aisle, can give them back the strength, the drive, and the confidence they thought was gone for good. Before I go any further, I want to be straight with you. I'm not here to sell you anything. I don't have a product line. I don't have a miracle pill in a fancy bottle. What I'm going to share with you today is based on real medicine, real research, and real patients I've seen turn their lives around in my own practice. So if you're over 60 or you're getting close, stay with me. Because what I'm about to tell you could genuinely change the way you wake up every single morning. Here's what I've learned after more than 2.5 decades of seeing patients. Most men over 60 walk into my office convinced that their fatigue, their low drive, their foggy thinking, even their trouble in the bedroom is just part of getting older. Their buddies told them that. Their doctors shrugged and told them that. Even their wives started to believe it. But I'm here to tell you today that's a lie. A lie that has cost American men their vitality, their marriages, and sometimes even their sense of who they are. Aging doesn't steal your energy. A hidden deficiency does. And once you fix it, the change can feel almost unbelievable. Now, I want to tell you about a man who walked into my office about 2 years ago. I'll call him Tom. Tom was 68, a retired electrician from Ohio, the kind of guy who spent 40 years climbing ladders and providing for his family. When he sat down across from me, he looked defeated. He told me, "Doc, I feel like somebody unplugged me. I can't get through the morning without a nap. My wife looks at me like I'm a stranger. I don't even recognize myself in the mirror anymore." His regular doctor had already run the usual tests. Testosterone was on the low end of normal, but nothing alarming. Blood pressure, a little high, but manageable. Cholesterol, fine. Everything on paper looked okay, but Tom was falling apart. So I ordered one more test. A test that, honestly, most primary care doctors skip unless you specifically ask for it. And what we found changed everything. Tom had a severe deficiency of vitamin B12. His levels were so low I couldn't believe he was still walking around. We started him on B12, just a simple, cheap supplement, 12 cents a dose. 3 weeks later, Tom came back into my office. He walked in differently, stood straighter, looked me right in the eye, and he said, "Doc, for the first time in years, I feel alive again. I feel like myself." That was not a miracle. That was biology doing what biology does when you finally give it what it needs. And here's the thing, folks. Tom isn't unusual. Tom is the norm. Over my 25 years, I've seen the same story play out with countless men. The testimony is overwhelming, and yet so many of you are still suffering in silence, thinking it's just the way things are after 60. Let me explain what's actually happening inside your body, because once you understand this, you'll never look at that little vitamin aisle the same way again. Strength and vitality in a man over 60 don't just come from your muscles or your testosterone. They come from something much deeper. They come from your blood, specifically from your red blood cells, and how well they deliver oxygen to every single tissue in your body. Your heart, your brain, your muscles, and yes, the parts of your body responsible for your intimate performance too. Vitamin B12 is the key player in that whole system. B12 is what your body uses to build healthy red blood cells. Without enough B12, your red blood cells become big, sluggish, and inefficient. They can't carry oxygen the way they're supposed to. And when your tissues don't get enough oxygen, everything starts to break down. Your energy tanks, your brain gets foggy, your muscles get weak, your circulation suffers. And that has a direct impact on every single function that depends on good blood flow. Now I know what some of you are thinking. "Doc, I eat fine. I have my eggs in the morning, a sandwich at lunch, meat with dinner. How could I possibly be deficient?" Here's what they don't tell you. After the age of 50, your stomach starts producing less of something called intrinsic factor. Intrinsic factor is the molecule your body needs to absorb B12 from food. Without enough of it, you could be eating a steak every single night and still be walking around dangerously low on B12. And it gets worse. If you're taking common medications like metformin for diabetes, or proton pump inhibitors for acid reflux, or even just regular antacids, those drugs actively block your body's ability to absorb B12. Millions of American men over 60 are on at least one of these medications, and their doctors never warned them, never tested them, never connected the dots. So, the food on your plate is fine. The problem is that your body stopped being able to pull the B12 out of it. That's why the supplement is so powerful. A simple B12 pill, taken the right way, bypasses that broken absorption system and delivers what your body has been starving for. Now, let me get specific, because I know a lot of you have been watching videos like this one and still walking away confused, scratching your head, wondering what to actually do on Monday morning. I'm not going to do that to you. I'm going to give it to you straight. For men over 60, I typically recommend methylcobalamin, which is the active form of B12 your body can use right away. You want a dose of around 1,000 micrograms per day. That's it. Just one little tablet. You can find it at any Walgreens, CVS, Walmart, Costco. You name it. Most bottles cost somewhere between $4 and $10 and will last you 3 or 4 months. That's how we get to the 12 cents a day figure. Now, if you're on the younger end, say 60 to 70 and otherwise healthy, 1,000 micrograms is usually plenty. If you're 70 to 80, especially if you're on metformin or acid reflux meds, you may need 1,500 to 2,000 micrograms to compensate for poor absorption. And for my patients over 80, including a 99-year-old gentleman I saw just last year, yes, B12 is not only safe, it's often even more important. Your body needs it just as much, if not more, as you get older. The best way to take it, sublingual. That means you let it dissolve under your tongue. This lets the B12 absorb directly into your bloodstream and skip your digestive system entirely, which, as I mentioned, tends to be the weak link for men over 60. Take it in the morning on an empty stomach if you can, and give it about 15 minutes before you eat breakfast. Now, here's something I want you to pay attention to, because a lot of guys miss this. B12 works best when it's got the right teammates alongside it. Think of your body like a baseball team. B12 is your star hitter, but you still need the rest of the lineup to win the game. The 2 teammates I recommend for almost every man over 60 are vitamin D3 and zinc. Vitamin D3, especially for those of you living in northern states like Michigan, Minnesota, or up in New England, is absolutely critical. Most of you are deficient and don't even know it. D3 supports your testosterone, your bones, your immune system, and your mood. I usually recommend 2,000 to 4,000 IU a day, taken with a meal that has some fat in it, like eggs or avocado, because D3 is fat soluble. Zinc is the third teammate. Zinc plays a huge role in testosterone production, immune function, and yes, healthy circulation below the belt, which I know is something a lot of you are quietly worried about. A modest dose of 15 to 30 milligrams a day is plenty. You don't want to overdo it because too much zinc can actually throw off your copper levels, so keep it reasonable. When you put those 3 together, B12, D3, and zinc, you've got a trio that works in harmony to support energy, strength, circulation, mood, and confidence. And the whole thing, all 3 supplements combined, still costs less than a single fast food meal per month. That's the part that always blows my patients away. I had a gentleman from the Bronx write me just a few months ago. He started with B12 after his cardiologist suggested it, then added D3 and zinc after doing his own research. He told me at 74 years old, he feels like he's 40 again. Fired up, strong, back to himself. That's not magic. That's what happens when you stop ignoring what your body has been crying out for. Now, I want to take a minute and talk about something I know is on a lot of your minds, even if you'd never bring it up with your wife, let alone your doctor. I'm talking about intimate performance, strength in the bedroom, confidence with your partner. Here's the honest truth. When you improve your circulation and oxygen delivery with B12, you are directly supporting every function that depends on healthy blood flow. That includes sexual function, B12 isn't some instant miracle pill. I won't lie to you and tell you it is. But what I will tell you is that when you combine B12 with proper D3 zinc and basic healthy habits, the changes I've seen in my male patients, both in how they feel about themselves and in their relationships, can be genuinely life-changing. I've had men in their late 60s and 70s tell me their wives noticed the difference before they even said a word. That's the kind of transformation I'm talking about. Not from some overpriced blue pill, not from some shady online product, just from giving your body the basic building blocks it's been missing. Before we go much further, I want to address something important. I know some of you are watching this and wondering, is this just another one of those videos? You're tired of fake doctors, AI voices, and sketchy websites trying to sell you something. I get it. I really do. That's why everything I've told you today can be verified with your own physician with mainstream medical sources like the Mayo Clinic, Cleveland Clinic, or the NIH. Ask your doctor to run a serum B12 test at your next appointment. Ask for a vitamin D level too while you're at it. Bring this information in. A good doctor will take it seriously, and if yours doesn't, well, that tells you something too. I also want to say this clearly because it matters. If you're currently on any prescription medications, especially blood thinners, chemotherapy drugs, or medications for serious chronic conditions, please talk to your doctor before starting any new supplement. B12 is remarkably safe, but your body is unique, and a 5-minute conversation with your physician is always worth it. All right, so let's talk about what actually happens when you start giving your body what it needs. In the first week, most of my patients don't notice anything dramatic yet. Maybe they sleep a little better. Maybe the afternoon fog feels a little lighter. That's your body quietly beginning to rebuild. By week 2 or 3, the change becomes real. You start to wake up and feel like getting out of bed instead of dreading it. You find yourself going for a walk without being winded after half a block. You start to laugh a little easier, maybe even flirt with your wife again like you did when you were dating. Your mind feels sharper. You remember the name of that actor from that movie without having to sit there for 10 minutes. By month 2, the men in my practice often tell me they feel like a different person entirely. One patient called it waking up from a long nap I didn't know I was taking. And that's exactly what it is. Your body has been running on fumes, and you finally put fuel back in the tank. Now I want to address some of the questions I get from folks like you every single day. Someone always asks, "Doc, can I just get a B12 shot instead of taking the pill?" The answer is yes, absolutely. And for some people, especially those with pernicious anemia or severe absorption issues, the shots are actually the gold standard. Your doctor can prescribe them. But for most men, a daily sublingual tablet at 1,000 micrograms works just as well and is a whole lot cheaper and more convenient than going in for injections. Another common question, how long until I can stop taking it? The truth is, for most men over 60, B12 becomes something you'll take daily for the rest of your life. But at 12 cents a day, that's the best investment in yourself you'll ever make. Think of it the same way you think of brushing your teeth. You don't stop brushing your teeth after a month. You keep doing it because it works. And another one, is it safe to combine B12 with my other vitamins? In almost every case, yes. B12 plays well with pretty much every common supplement. Just don't go overboard. More is not better. Stick to the dosages I mentioned, and you'll be in good shape. I had one gentleman in his 80s ask me, "Doc, is it too late for me?" And I want to say this to every single one of you watching, whether you're 60, 70, 80, or even 99 years old. It is never, ever too late. Your body is built to heal. Your cells are renewing themselves every single day. If you start today, you'll be better in 3 weeks than you are right now. I've seen it happen too many times to count. Now, let me give you a quick action plan. I want you to walk away from this video with something you can actually do, not just a bunch of information you'll forget by tomorrow. Step 1. Later today or this week, head over to your local pharmacy or grocery store and pick up a bottle of sublingual methylcobalamin B12, 1,000 micrograms. Get a bottle of vitamin D3, 2,000 to 4,000 IU, and grab a bottle of zinc, 15 to 30 milligrams. Your total should be somewhere around $25 to $35 for a 3-month supply. Step 2, start tomorrow morning. Take the B12 under your tongue on an empty stomach. 15 minutes later, eat breakfast with the D3 and zinc alongside your meal. That's it. That's your whole routine. Step 3, write down how you feel. Just a sentence or two a day for the next month. Keep a little notebook on your nightstand. You'll be shocked when you go back and read week 1 versus week 4. Step 4, if you're not already, get yourself moving. Nothing crazy. Just a walk around the block, 10 or 15 minutes a day. Your B12 works better when your body is moving. The two together are a 1-2 punch most men over 60 have never experienced. And step 5, if you're comfortable doing so, talk to your doctor. Tell them what you're doing. Ask them to run a B12 test. Most will be happy to help, and it's good to have a baseline. Look, I've been doing this for over 25 years. I've sat across from thousands of men who walked in feeling like they'd already reached the end of the road, and I've watched so many of them walk back out with a smile I hadn't seen from them in years. The story doesn't have to end the way most people tell you it does. Your 60s, 70s, and even 80s can be some of the best years of your life, not the slow fade everyone warned you about. This is about more than a vitamin. It's about taking back control of your health, your body, and your confidence. It's about rewriting the story of what life after 60 can actually look like. And here's what I want you to remember when someone tries to tell you that feeling tired, weak, and disconnected is just part of getting older. That is simply not true. Getting older is a privilege. Feeling miserable while doing it is a choice, and usually it's a fixable one. The men who take action don't just live longer, they live bigger, they walk taller, they laugh louder, they love deeper. They show up for their grandkids with energy and presence, not exhaustion. They rediscover parts of themselves they thought were gone forever. So, tonight, I want you to make a decision. Not a big dramatic one, just a small one. The decision to stop settling for feeling less than fully alive. The decision to pick up a bottle of B12 this week and give yourself 3 weeks to see what happens. You've got almost nothing to lose and honestly, everything to gain. You've earned this chapter of your life. Don't let a tiny vitamin deficiency rob you of it. If this helped you today, I'd love for you to leave a comment below and tell me where you're watching from. I always love hearing from you, whether you're tuning in from Texas, Florida, New York, or a small town I've never heard of. And if you found this valuable, share it with a friend, a brother, a father, anyone over 60 in your life who deserves to feel strong again. That's how we change this together. Take care of yourselves, everyone. Start simple, start today, and trust your body to do what it was built to do. I'll see you in the next one.